What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Paul the Plant Parent here with another day in the life of a water culture grower. And we have some maintenance to do for three different plants. Two are in the same family. We have a Tradescantia, really pretty. We have a Calathea. This is a Makoyana. Love this plant. One of my Makoyanas. And this is Dichorisandra, which looks like a Tradescantia. Same family, it's just not a trailer, it's an upright grower, and it's also known as blue ginger. So all these guys have been in waterculture for a while. As you can see, my Makoyana is asleep. I'm waking it up to do this video. Sorry. So you know what? Let's start with Tradescantia. Okay. Typically what I do when I do my maintenance is, first of all, I like to use clear vessels because I want to be able to see what's going on at a glance at all times. This way, if I'm looking at all my plants, or at least plants in the area that I'm in, I can see, oh, something needs to be addressed right away. And I don't have to pull it out to see that. I can see it already. And this doesn't have any major concerns. There are some dead leaves in here that I'm going to remove, and then I'm going to rinse off the roots. Put it back in with some fresh water. I'm gonna treat the water with my water conditioner, and then I'm gonna add in just a couple of drops, maybe 3 or 4 drops of my orchid fertilizer. And the reason why I'm using this orchid fertilizer is because it has a higher nitrogen content than my MaxiGrow, which MaxiGrow works great, but since these are more foliage plants, I don't really need them to bloom at this point. I just want them to grow. I need something with higher nitrogen as opposed to phosphorus. Okay, so let's start here. Let's take this baby out. The roots are, as you can see, very healthy, and they're very furry at the top because they're air roots at the top. You can see that there. I don't know if you can see. Okay. I'm just going to examine them, and once your plant has been established and has acclimated to water culture, you only have to do something like this maybe once a month, sometimes once every 2 months if it's been a while and you've had it in water culture for a while. There isn't too much maintenance that has to happen, but you can look, if you're using a clear vessel, you can look into the root area and then kind of see if anything's needed. Again, another reason why I like using clear vessels. Or vases, whatever you want to call them. This root came out. This is a relatively new root. As you can see, it's growing from this little pup that's sprouted here. The roots all look healthy. There isn't really much, if any, root die-off, which is always a good sign. And there were just a few old leaves that had crisped up, but there's a lot of new growth. A lot of pups coming out. Look at all these babies. You see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's just so many babies here. So that's a good sign. It's showing that the plant has acclimated. It's showing that it's happy. It's been in water culture for a while, and no signs of decline. This leaf here would be something I would be concerned about if more than one leaf had these little dry patches, but I'm gonna keep an eye on it, but it could have just been one compromised leaf because the rest of them look fine. If you do see a trend and you see other leaves having the same problem, especially in the newer growth, you know it's some type of a root issue. This isn't the newest leaf. We have 3 new leaves since this leaf has sprouted. So I don't think it is an issue right now, but I am going to keep my eye on it just to make sure, to be a good plant parent. Okay, everything looks good here. I don't see any issues. So I'm going to run to the sink quickly. Yes, I'm using tap water, but I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do. I'm going to run it under the tap water, rinse it off quickly, just to clear off anything that may have been sticking to those roots, okay? I'm now going to dump out the old water. It's been there for close to a month, if not a month, okay? And now I'm going to fill up. This is just tap water, okay? And I'm gonna explain what I'm gonna do. Fill this up to where it was with tap water, okay? I'm gonna put 1 drop of conditioner in to remove the chlorine and any metals that are in the water. And before I do anything else, I'm just gonna swish this around. It's supposed to be instant as far as dechlorinating and removing the heavy metals. And now I'm gonna put in some of my orchid fertilizer. I think it's called Orchid Grow. Now, it comes with a little scoop. So what I do is I use the little scoop in this 1 ounce container, okay? That's too diluted, too concentrated to use as the water. Like this is just too concentrated. So what I do is I put in about 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, this is me and just what I do. It's not exactly manufacturer's instructions, but I've learned that more diluted with water changes, constant feed gives you these kinds of results, okay? So now I'm gonna put this back into its vessel, like so. And as you can see, there is a portion of the roots that is still above the water line. Can you see that? I wanna make sure that you guys can see. And that's the way I'm gonna keep it, okay? If this gets a little bit too low, I'm then gonna fill this up with more treated water, and I can add in maybe a drop if I want, but you don't have to. Like you don't have to, every time you're topping it up, add the nutrients, because there is gonna be still some nutrients in here that it can use. Okay, so this one's done. That's it, that's all it takes. Anyone that says that water culture is a lot of work is lying. Okay, let's do Makoyana. I love this plant. Since this has been moved to water culture, first of all, look at these leaves. There's 1, 2, 3 new leaves. We have, I guess that's it for now as far as new leaves, but the roots are gorgeous. And look at these little potatoes. I did a really good job at cleaning these off. As you can see, they're very, very clean little potatoes. And I separated these, or at least one of them I separated, so that they are independent plants in case I want to remove them. Okay, part of the maintenance now, we're removing dead leaves, right? Here's a dead leaf. It's the oldest leaf. Now, if this was a newer leaf that I'm pulling off, that would be a sign that something's wrong. If my new leaves are dying, there's a problem, but that's not the case. I'm gonna keep this leaf on even though it's damaged, only because just because it's damaged doesn't mean it's not photosynthesizing. It's still making food for the plant. Oh, we've got some great growth in here. Everything looks very healthy. This leaf, I'm not so sure about this. It looks like it had a little bit of dry off here when it started to unfurl. But the fact that there are other leaves here that are doing good, hopefully that's just a one-off. But I'm gonna keep my eye on it, okay? I also may need to give this more light because this is also not getting a lot of light at all. This is in a very dark area in the room that I have this in. So it's really not getting sufficient light, let's be honest. But maybe I'll move it to a better area. I'm gonna keep my eye on it though, just to make sure that any new leaves that do come out do not have any sort of issue, okay? So I removed the dead leaves. I don't see any dead roots. Everything is nice and firm. There's nothing rotting, nothing soft. Everything feels pretty good. So I'm gonna lay this down. I'm gonna empty out this old water. It's a little bit yellowish. Okay, boom. I rinsed out the cup. Now I'm gonna fill up with some tap water. Okay, and now I'm gonna add in 1 drop of conditioner. Think. And I'll add in, I guess about 3 drops, 2, 3, no, 4, 5. Let's do 4, 5. 5 drops of feed. Stir it up a little bit. And we place this baby back in. And because these roots are pretty big, I have to kind of twist the plant around so that some of them are still above the water level, okay? And that's it. That's all we're gonna do. Again, I'm gonna keep my eye on this because this one has not been in water culture as long as some of the others. And I wanna make sure that the new leaf growth does not continue to show any type of an issue. But otherwise, I know it's sleeping, but the plant is doing well. Even the older leaves don't have dry tips. You know what I mean? Everything is pretty healthy here. So I'm just gonna keep my eye on it as usual until I know for sure it's acclimated. And last up we have Dichorisandra. This is the blue ginger. This also has tubers. This has been in water culture for a while. These were cuttings that I put in, and as you can see, the roots took the shape of the container. I definitely want to run this under the water though, because the roots are very dark. You can't even see the tubers. They're in here somewhere. I don't know where they went, but these have little potatoes just like the Calathea. So I'm gonna run this under the water quickly, and then I will bring this back. Again, this one has also not been in any light. It's been in a very dark area, which is bad, you know, bad as a plant parent, but there's only so much room that I have. All right, here we go. Okay, this has now been rinsed. Let's take a look at the leaves. You can see this went dry for a period of time, got some crispy leaves, but all the new growth is looking good. If the new growth wasn't looking good, I'd say there's a problem with the roots. But because the new growth is looking okay, I know it's gonna do just fine. And again, this is just like, it looks just like Tradescantia, especially Zebrina in particular, but it's an upright grower, and it grows like canes, and it has a tuft of blue flowers, purple blue, I think in the summer, but I haven't gotten them to bloom indoors. I'm gonna bring them out. I keep saying this every year, but I'm gonna bring them outside during the summer and try to get in the shade and try to get some blooms. Let me rinse out the vase. All right. I'm gonna fill up the water cup because I don't think I have enough in here. Let me just do that. Okay. Now, since I checked all the leaves, everything is relatively healthy looking. I'm not gonna put that in yet, but I'm gonna put in some water first. Enough to cover most of the roots. And I'm gonna put in my conditioner. Let me just show you what I filled. You can see it there. Put in 1 drop of conditioner and 5 drops of the feed. And again, that's 1 small spoonful. It's the spoonful that comes with the food, with the nutrients. There's a small side and a big side. I use the small side. Mix it up really good. Get all that chlorine out of there. And now I'm going to, oh, there's a leaf here. I'm gonna place this into the vase again. Pretty soon this is gonna need a new vase because it's getting a little tight in there to get it in. But you can see the roots aren't white on these plants. They are kind of like a brownish, but that's how they are as soon as they sprout. So they've always been that color. And there we have it.